Hey cuz, hey, it's your girl AJ, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I achieved my knotless box braids. This is actually the first time I braided my hair in like 5 years period, and it's also the first time that I'm attempting these box braids. So I'm starting off on freshly cleansed and stretched hair. My hair is also trimmed. It looks a little uneven because my hair, I do get curly cuts. So when you get curly cuts, when you stretch or straighten your hair could look all choppy, but that's because the way our afro is shaped is different from the way it lays when it's straight. So that's why they look like that. So like I said, my hair is cleansed, conditioned, stretched, and trimmed. So I'm just making sure that my hair is thoroughly detangled in this clip. And I'm just kind of going to start parting my hair to see how big or small I want these box braids. I knew I didn't want them too small because I wasn't trying to be doing this all day, even though it took me all of about 3 days to finish these braids. But yeah, right here I'm just checking to see like how big I want the braids or whatever. And since I got a lot of hair and a lot of head, I needed some assistance because I don't do a lot of time in the gym. Girl, these arms is not okay. They is not fit for this type of activity. So I just brought my husband in to help me part and see the back of my head and all that good stuff, because I seen a clip on Instagram where the girl's hair was pre-parted or pre-sectioned. So I decided to give it a shot to see if that'll cut down on time. I really don't know if it did or if it didn't, because I haven't braided in a long time and it took me like 3 days to finish this. And the only reason why it took me so long to finish was because at this time we were actually moving and getting our house renter ready. So it was a lot going on and I couldn't just like sit down and knock it out in one sitting. So that's why it took so long, but I got the job done. And I did go forward with the pre-section idea. So that's what you're going to see here in these few clips. So this is actually the next morning and I'm actually ready to start braiding. So this is the first section, that first bottom row, and this is how it's looking. So what I used to achieve these box braids was the Style Factor, is it Edge Booster? I think it's like the Sweet Peach scent or something. This is my favorite one. And I decided to use this over jam or anything else because this is a water-based pomade. And if you know me, you know I love water-based. So this is what I used to part my hair with. And I used a couple of clips, also some croc clips. And of course the hair and the braiding hair, I kind of forgot to add that in here. So here's a clip, you can screenshot it if you want, but it's the Spectra antibacteria braiding hair that's already pre-stretched in 20 inches. Before I actually start my braid off, I'm using the pomade just to like sleek things down, get a cleaner look. And then I'm going to actually start the braid. This was the first braid I did, and I wanted to make sure that I showed you all this clip because I made some mistakes. Okay, it was my first time. I made some mistakes and I wanted to really point out those mistakes. As you see, I'm braiding like 3 or 4 times before I actually feed in the braiding hair, and that was a mistake because it just, like, the size of the braid was off. It started off really tiny and then it got big and it wasn't as neat. It was lumpy. The gradients was like nowhere to be found, and I really didn't like it. So later on I kind of caught on to that, and I figured out that you should be feeding in the hair like immediately. Like once you start the braid, like the first braid motion, that's when you should feed in the hair. So, and because I use this ombre colored hair and it's in 20 inches, the ombre hair actually like thins out really bad and the braids are like really short. It's not cute. So I had to feed in to get the length I want and to keep the braid the same size. So that's what you see here. And I was like actually seeing like how the feed-in method was like possible. I don't know, I was just, y'all, I was experimenting. I was trying all different ways. Like I was really trying to figure this thing out. So that's what you see me doing. And the first braid is complete, and I was like really shook because it's not tight at all. Like I was really shook. Like I know people kept saying like knotless braids are not tight, but when I say they are not tight, they are not tight. Like you can immediately move it around in every which direction and it doesn't hurt. And I'm heavy-handed, so I was shook. like I was saying, this is my first time, so I'm not going to show you guys like each exact braid because I was making a lot of errors to see like what was the best way to go about it. So when it's time for me to like give you guys like steps on your box braids at home, I'll come back and explain to you what I'm doing. So on to how I actually do the braid. So of course you want to just take 3 separate sections out of the section that you already parted. And I'm just going to start a braiding motion, and I only do that one time before I feed in the hair. Once I feed in the hair, I put it in between my index and my thumb, and the other piece or leg connects with the piece that was above my index finger when I first fed it in. So you can see it again, I'm feeding it in between my index and my thumb, and then that other leg goes to the piece of hair that was above my index when I first started. You can actually control your playback settings on YouTube and slow it down if you need to, but I just continue on with my braiding motions and I keep adding in the hair. I add in about maybe 6 to 8 braiding pieces total, just because I was trying to get the length of the braids longer, but when I start out I only use about maybe 3 or 4 pieces, so I just want you guys to like note that. Once I get the braid to the size that I want, I kind of just start continuing my braid, and whenever the braid gets thinner, then I'll add in another piece just to keep it the same size while also adding the length that I want. While I was filming, I realized that I hadn't actually shown you guys how I end the braid, because I get asked about that. I don't use glue or I don't use rubber bands, which is another reason why I decided to add in hair throughout the braid so I could thin it out the way I want it, because I do the slip knot method. If you don't know what that is, maybe you can YouTube it. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but I do show you guys near the end how I do a full braid, including the slip knot. So you can wait to the end to see that, and I'm going to slow it down. But if you don't know what it is and you've never done one before, just look it up. I'm sure there's tutorials on it here on YouTube. I don't know how to explain it. I don't even remember how I learned, so I'm sorry about that, but I do show you guys how to do it in slow-mo. So this is the final braid that I'm going to show in this video. You guys, like I said before, you can slow down the playback settings on YouTube, so you can slow it down and watch me closely. You can zoom in, whatever you got to do to get this right. Go ahead and do it. It did take me a while to get it right, so you know, practice makes perfect. I will be doing box braids again, well, these knotless box braids again towards my birthday, because I want to do some really nice colorful ones, and I'm going to be working on my parts, because girl, I was clowning myself on these parts, honey. But this was just practice, and I wasn't like trying to be cute for nobody. I was just trying to figure out how to do these braids that I keep seeing on Instagram. So yeah, that's that. I'll be doing an updated version of this video. I just want to show you guys like my first time ever doing them. So yeah, that's that. promise y'all, it felt like I was never gonna get done when I was actually doing these, but I got through. I ain't give up. I actually never even dipped my hair. I just put mousse on it, and life got really busy for me. So the foam I'm using, I don't want to mention because me and the company are at odds right now, but you could just use any type of foam or setting mousse, and that's just going to set the style in place. And then I sat under the dryer. But if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen like the progression of these braids. I actually still have them in. It's been 2 months. I'm about to take them out. I'm going to film a video just so you guys know. But that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. It took me a while to put it out. I apologize for those who've been waiting, but it's here. Okay, don't fight me, but I'm glad you watched it, and I'll see you guys in the takedown video. Bye.